So what I want us to do is to start becoming more conscious, start choosing things in a better way for ourselves, and start creating a life that's going to gear us to really take advantage of the opportunities that are going to show up for us in the years to come.
This podcast is brought to you by The Integrated Human. We work up, down, inside out to plug yourself into your potential. If you want to see what we are up to and what's next, sign up to our newsletter or follow us on social media. If you like what we are doing, we really appreciate it if you can like our post on social media and YouTube and help us grow.
All right. Welcome to the Big and Small Podcast. This is Jason Shields, and I'm big.
And I'm Marit Gabrielsen, and I'm the tiny one.
Wait, you're already laughing at me?
No, I was laughing at you. Like, why do I always have to start picking on the microphone right before we start? I'm like, oh, it's here on this one. I have none one. And I'm like, why would you do that right before YouTube comes on? That's ridiculous.
I don't know.
It happens every time.
It's about getting things in order, being ready, right?
Yeah, I think it's just OCD or nervous patterns. I don't know. Anyways, good day.
Good day.
Good day.
So we were back in the saddle.
Back in the saddle.
Yeah. So you have some light or dark to share with us?
It was dark. It's dark.
Bring it. I can't wait.
Dark. Well, I was walking the other day. This was a thought I had, and I'm like, it's not very positive. But I think we're going to get something positive out of this podcast, so don't put pause. Continue listening. I was walking the other day with my dog, and we just had October, which is the breast cancer month. Mm-hmm. And now we have November, which is Movember and prostate month. And I was talking, we do hang a lot out with guys, young guys.
Yeah, because we do martial arts
and that's why it's a lot of them there.
There should be way more women doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because it's one of the martial arts that actually work for women.
And they're always welcome in our club. So
yes.
But I was thinking, it was dark outside, and I was like we know from previous episode, thinking a lot about emotions. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking about depression especially, and it was getting dark outside, and I was again the month of the man. And yeah, I don't know. Every day is Man Day.
I don't really feel that much more special right now. I don't know if that's like you're saying, because every day is Man's Day. Or
this was kind of your thoughts start to just run on itself, and then I started to think about it's a lot of guys committing suicide, and a lot of women also do, but it's more men. That
way
do
more
that.
Like 5 to 1 or something.
Yeah,
like that.
It's a big number. I don't know the
temps
numbers.
are about equal, but I think men are more successful.
Men are more successful because they kind of just finish it. And then I was thinking how many people in my life I would be willing to die for, and I have a couple. And then I realized it has nothing to do with who you're willing to die for. Has to do with who you're willing to live for.
That's correct.
And I was that's such a different question.
Yeah.
Because I can die for a lot of people. It doesn't cost me that much. It's done. It's over. It's cost good enough. Why not? But to live for something or someone, that's different. Yeah. Because living doesn't mean breathing.
No. Living
means actually living.
Expressing yourself, getting yourself out of the mud. Doesn't mean that you're perfect and living the Instagram life or not having the dark side, but it has to do with you putting on your big girl pants or big guy pants and actually start working on yourself to live. But to see that you have to live for someone, because when you go down there, it's very hard to live for yourself. That's correct.
Because you don't have any self-worth, you don't have any, you are not worthy, and that's why you get an addiction like alcoholism. You shouldn't stop, you should stop alcoholism for yourself, by all means, but I don't think that's the greatest motivator for people.
No.
But if you are in a
have an addiction like alcoholism, that affects so many people around you.
Exactly.
If it affects your kids, if you have kids, it affects your friends, it affects your family, and that's so heavy.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you see that when you are down in it. I don't know, but if you start thinking about it, should my mom have to suffer through this? No, she's worth more. Should my best friend suffer because of this? No, they are worth more. Then you need to start, so you can start living for them.
Yes.
If you can't live for yourself.
That's correct.
Because at least you can contribute. And that was my dark thought of today.
Well, I really love that. So if we were a little closer, I'd give you a high five, because that right there is such a beautiful thing. Would it be okay if I talk a little bit around that?
Of course.
Because
No, the podcast is done now after 6 minutes.
Yeah. You're mic dropping and leaving now, right?
No, that was the, again, not a, just, it was just interesting. You're allowed to take over. But it was interesting because we always said in the fairy tales, and the hero talks to the princess and says, I would die for you. I'm like, it has nothing to, no problem dying. Pretty simple. It's over quickly. Something might happen after. We don't know. Haven't tried that yet. So don't know. Maybe. But living, when you don't have any reason for yourself to live, that's the schnitzel.
Yeah. Having people around you that you will live for, that you will pull yourself together and step forward for.
And thinking then, but if I don't want my best friend, my kids, my husband, my wife see me to suffer, then I can just end it. Well, you can't, because I don't care. No matter how you feel around yourself, look at the facts. They then have to deal with the funeral. They then have to deal with your unpaid bills. There is not a solution, because then they will suffer then.
Yeah.
So the only way for them not to suffer is for you to start living.
Yeah, that's it. And a few things that, this is such a big theme, because the psychology of a person who takes their life, and the reason why it's more men than women, is that you get to a point where you feel isolation, which means that you have nobody to live for. You literally feel, it's generally at that point, whether it's made by repeated patterns in the brain, or if it's actually a result of some other biochemical, but it becomes a biochemical imbalance in your mind. And you literally can't, though you live with somebody, you have no connection. You feel alone, even though you're with other people. And that's the dangerous thing, because you then no longer have anybody to live for. Because you will have periods in your life, if you're a normal person. I'm not like, throwing curses out there at people, but generally, if you are a normal person, you will have periods where you have to ask yourself, is it worth it? Am I doing the right thing? Am I worthy? Should I go on living at all? You may, if you have a full range of emotions, have highs and lows, and maybe you even have a certain biochemical balance in your brain, or some kind of epigenetic factor that does something to you that makes you more low than high. Some people are more high than low. So it could be that you ask yourself those questions. The problem is the very specific turning point is, do you feel that you're living in isolation, that your death would not actually affect anybody, that the bills that they have to clean up is better actually than having to deal with you? And then, in fact, actually it doesn't even really matter, because I'm alone in the universe. So you don't even notice that what you're doing would affect anybody. It becomes very narcissistic, very inward going, very low, and very isolated. Those are the warning signs. And then if the person, first of all, usually they don't have a problem telling you if you ask them if they're thinking about it, because they're in isolation. So whatever your reaction doesn't matter as much. Very often
They have a very concrete plan for what they're going to do. And the more clear that plan is, the more serious they are, the more you need to call help. Mm-hmm. And that's the reason why I'm talking about this. If you know a person that's depressed and you're asking them how it's going and you're making sure that they're okay, and you ask them, are you safe to be alone? Are you thinking about doing anything bad? And they say, well, it's not worth it anymore, and I just can't take it. That's not as dangerous as, yeah, and I figured out that I got a hose and got the tape. I bought the tape. And I'm going to strap it to the back of the exhaust, and I'm going to put it in the garage, and I'm going to sit on my motorcycle and go out like a cowboy. That's
not good.
That's not good. Then you know that person needs to be put somewhere for a while so that they can work themselves back into life. So, feeling something, even feeling bad things, is often better than not feeling at all. And that's why also a side effect of antidepressives is suicide. Because people think, yeah, I would rather just be flat and even and be cool rather than feel what I'm feeling. Wrong. Most people who are very emotional are addicted to feeling things, number one. And when they lose their feeling, they freak the fuck out because their life ends.
Well, that's why you play video games. And we talked about that before. Yeah. You do what you do to get emotions, to feel something.
Exactly.
That's why you watch trash TV or
people
have guilty pleasures like Pitch Perfect.
Yeah, Pitch Perfect. I love that show. Yeah, it's wonderful. And then also you read romance novels and all kinds of stuff just to feel something, even if it's horrific. You watch a horror movie just to feel something. Yeah, that was what we talked about horror movies. That was ugh. Yeah, it's nasty. It's nasty, but at the same time, it's something that's in a way kind of puts your life in a little bit of context. At least you don't have a crazy guy in a mask running after you with a chainsaw. Whatever, your bills are not paid, but nobody's chasing you with a chainsaw.
You've actually done that.
Yeah, I actually did.
Get paid for doing that.
I got paid.
That's a different story.
In a haunted house. I can't wait to tell that story. That's amazing.
That's actually a very fun story.
I love those
stories.
But
normally you don't have that after
Yeah, exactly. You don't have that. So you put yourself in that situation and you feel better about your life afterwards because, okay, maybe it's not that bad that this bill or whatever, or the job or that colleague or whatever it is you're dealing with, okay? So that's one thing. And if you are working a lot on your insides, if you're doing the evolutionary process, you will have to confront the darkness inside you. You must confront the darkness inside you. You will also confront the light inside you, and you must confront the light inside you. This is not an esoteric thing, but you're going to have to learn how to handle who you are. So if I can't get over the fact that I'm a 100-kilo man, I'm going to have an issue. Yeah. If I can't get over the fact that I'm super positive and super happy, and you think, oh yeah, but that's what I want to be. Really? Because sometimes when you're super happy and positive, that's not the best attitude for negotiating a contract.
It's a very bad place to be to have a contract meeting.
Right? Because you're like, yeah, that'll go well, and this is fine, and I'm sure it's not going to be that bad, and you don't know how to think consequences and all this stuff. So being high and happy is not necessarily always the best thing, my friends. And also, on the other side, being really depressive and low and pessimistic, probably also not the best way to kind of talk about getting married and planning the marriage. Probably not the best place to be, right? So there's certain ways of looking at yourself, and you have to understand the first step of growing up, not even waking up, but being a grown up, is accept yourself.
Ooh, that's difficult though.
It's very difficult. I'm not saying never said life was easy, right? Because then everybody would do it. Right? Everybody would do it, yeah. So the whole point is that you have to accept yourself. And that doesn't mean that, oh, I never have to improve because I'm perfect. That's not acceptance.
I don't think actually people accept. Here, I'm like, nope.
Nope.
You say Jason always have this positive look at humanity. I'm like, nah, I don't think so. I don't think they think that far. No, I don't think they have goals. I don't think, and I do not think people actually accept themselves. It's the whole,
we do this when we have our conversations with some of the guys sometimes, and it's usually guys, man, because women thinks in like Jason dropped something on me, and like I see 50 possibilities at once, and my husband right next to me, he goes, okay. I'm like, how can you be okay with this? It's gonna go shitways sideways in 49 different ways here. It's just one that's successful. Yeah. And sorry, what were you saying?
No, but it's actually.
Oh, I got lost in my own thought. It happens.
I think I got lost in my own thought or your own thought on that one. That was funny.
I just went back right into a conversation we had before. Oh, what were we talking about? Oh, that's awkward.
But anyway, being high and low, and you have to accept yourself.
Yes, acceptance.
Okay.
There you go.
So I know that's the whole point. Most people don't actually learn to handle themselves because they don't, first of all, accept that there it is. They're always trying to change something to start with. And you're saying, yeah, but isn't evolution about changing? No. Evolution is about aligning, because you will have high and low spots. You will have things that you're good at and things you're not good at. You will have a learning process.
Yeah, but people don't accept that.
Yeah,
they don't,
the point.
Because you accepted. That was the point with the boys.
Yeah,
that you accept it in the head, but that you don't accept it. You still think you can do something from there.
Yeah, many do.
That's the whole thing. Acceptance. Yeah. It's so. Take 50 people out there and say, "Do you accept yourself?" They're gonna say yes. Bullshit.
Well, they don't. I do. I accept myself.
Yeah, but they don't. They don't, because we actually you are taught to say something, so we say the right thing.
Yeah, of course.
But then because we said it, we say, oh yeah, of course I accept myself. Of course I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
And then everybody out there, not everybody.
Well, most people expect perfection.
Most people hammer themselves because they're not perfect.
Yeah. The question you can ask yourself always, this is one of those tests. Be honest with yourself. How many new things do you actually start as an adult? Most people don't start any new things because they can't tolerate being a beginner. They can't tolerate being the shitty person in the room. And I'm not saying that all beginners are shitty, but like you walk into an art studio and you've never done any art. What's the chances that you actually walk in and you're the new Van Gogh? That's pretty zero. And even so, you have to realize that Van Gogh used his whole life to become Van Gogh, and you're looking at the peak of his career, and then you're expecting that
the
first day you walk in.
He was born that way.
Yeah, of course, right? He's born that way. And that's the weird thing. There are people like Kim Jong-gi, who's one of the greatest illustrators.
Not Kim Jong-un.
No. Kim
Not him.
Jong-gi.
Different guy.
Yeah, different guy. This guy's an illustrator. He just died of a massive heart attack after giving an exhibition. This guy had, how some people have perfect pitch. You play a note or they hear a sound and they can tell you what tone that is. And they can find that everywhere. They have perfect connection between what they hear and their intellectual process. This guy had perfect sense of position. He could draw anything from upside down, inside out. He could draw without lines, perspectives, and rulers. It was an unbelievable and fascinating thing. People would sit and pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars just to sit at this guy's feet and watch him draw, because it was insane. You could just tell him stuff and he'd be like, okay, an airplane, this and that. And he could draw it from any perspective. He could draw it from one of the baggage compartments, and then you could see all the people and everything was always in perfect proportion. You could check it. So this guy had a perfect understanding of that one thing in himself, right? Now, you can't expect to be that guy, because even that guy had to use his whole life to become that guy. So most of us expect perfection as we walk into a situation where we have no reason to expect anything but a newbie explosion of chaos, right? So check yourself. See if you actually do accept yourself. I accept myself not being good at stuff. And I also say, okay, I'm not good at that. Can you help me? I never have problems asking people for help if I know they're better at something than I am. There's no ego there because when they do it, I watch and then I get better and suddenly I can do it myself. There's no problem there, right? But the whole idea is that acceptance, knowing that you're going to be high and low, and not letting the low parts, that the self-criticism and the self-hate around the low part create brain damage. And what do I mean by that? If you constantly negatively load your brain and nervous system get better at doing what you do all the time.
What you do every day, you do a lot.
It's neuroplasticity, exactly. So if I'm constantly going to tell you how shit I was, what I don't have, why it wasn't perfect, what I should have done instead of what I did, if I constantly looking at those things, in one way, people are like, oh, he's very self-aware, self-reflective. No, you're not. If you're self-reflective and self-aware, you'll see what you've accomplished and where you can go.
But then what would be the difference between that and evaluating, like say we do jiu-jitsu or drawing, how then evaluate what you need to improve on?
Yeah.
What's the balance there, so you don't kind of tip over one way?
Yeah. The balance is, I achieved, let's say, a 10-part process. I was good on 1, 7, and 8. But 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 9 and 10 can be improved. So that's an evaluation. The holy shit, almost all of these 10 steps were crap. I'm never going to be good at this.
Or I was awesome at all of them.
And exactly. Or that I was awesome at everything. Yeah. But that's one of those things that life beats you up for that one. And that's why survival wise, it's very often in society when your parents are teaching you how to stay alive in traffic, they teach you rather to be negative about things than be positive, because it's like, if you're over positive, you run in the street playing traffic.
Oh, no one's going to ever run over me.
Exactly. It's better. Yeah. Right. If your kid's going to be too aware of possible danger or less aware of danger, what would you choose?
More aware of danger.
Yeah. And maybe a little too over.
I'd rather be extra safe. Use all the helmets.
And know that you shouldn't go too fast. And you turn into the society that we have now.
Yes.
But the problem is that negative thinking is addictive for the brain, and it also creates brain damage. It creates neural pathways that create the neurochemistry of negativity. So people spiral down. They spiral down. And that's the important thing. If you have friends that are constantly negative, you have to sometimes ask them, is it necessary? Is it really something that you need to focus on? Because if you can't change it, at some point, the boyfriend, you just need to let the guy go. At some point, you have to let them go through the drama of being there and having, the relationship going sideways. I had a patient come in today and said she went on a meditation course, and wasn't one of our meditation courses, but it was one of those yoga pants ones where they had a bunch of ladies that got together, and 3 of them out of 20 were getting divorces. So
you're kidding me?
No. And the whole weekend was nothing than sympathizing and commiserating with these poor ladies who were getting divorced.
Well, I just have, digression. Yeah. I'm going to do that. Not YouTube, don't shame me. Because I'm going to say this now. Because we've been told to be better at self-promoting. That is that we're going to have a new meditation course.
Okay.
You know this.
I know this.
You know this.
Yeah.
17th to 19th of March. Mm-hmm. This is a no yoga pants weekend. You can wear a yoga pant.
Yes.
If you want to.
That's it.
But it's not a yoga pants one. We do not discuss divorces or exes or boyfriends or climate change. We focus on actually meditation and inner work and your process. What we do is that we make the context, the room, and all you have to do is to show up.
Yep. That's
double checking on my phone. Yes, it's 17th to 19th of March.
Yes.
We have an early bird price until the 31st of December.
Get on it.
Perfect Christmas gift for you and yourself.
Yep.
You and yourself.
you yourself and others.
Yes.
I will put the link in the description of this podcast.
Nice.
But there's a Not Yoga Pants weekend, and it is extended with a day.
Yep.
Because last time people came up to us and said, I'm so sorry, we love this, but it's not enough.
Yeah, and I have people who have been yelling at us for, number one, not promoting early enough on the podcast, because the events are always sold out. We sold out every single one of them. So you guys, if you want to get on, you want to join us, you need to join. Call, send messages to Marit, get on it, because
yes, and I have checked. So if you come from not Voss, which we really would like, you're more than welcome. You don't have to be around Voss to join. You can come from another country. It's held in English, or Bergen also, whatever. It fits. It matches well with the trains.
Yes,
I've checked that. So you're more than welcome, and it will start and end, so you can get your train home. It's very good. So sorry. That was our tiny commercial for today. So you had this lady that had a whole weekend talking about divorces.
Yeah, basically it was her. She's a lioness. Like, this woman she's a queen lion. I mean, she's been through some shiat in her life. Like, it's
a pow.
It's a whole nother level of adaptation, a whole nother level of skill, a whole nother level of personal mastery. She's amazing. And she came in and she's like, man, I went on this thing, and I thought I was going to go there to zen out a little bit and, recuperate and all this. And all I was doing is psychotherapizing these ladies who were losing their husband, or not losing their husband, getting a divorce. And I just asked him, I said, well, you didn't ask him? And I'm like, ask him what? And I said, you didn't ask him how heavy their husbands were. And why would I ask them that? Well, ask him, okay, let's say they were 92 kilos. Yeah? What about it? And you can ask him, doesn't it feel good to take a 92 kilo dump?
This is a guy thing to say.
Yeah, right? But she loved it. She's like, that would have completely changed the atmosphere.
But at least
there.
you get to go from, it's up to yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So let's go. Let's move on. It's like,
let's have wine now.
Exactly.
Or not. If you're addicted, water.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
We talked about that at the beginning.
And do some breathing exercises, get your stretch on, and let's go, right? Yeah. But the whole point is that you don't want to allow your friends to constantly focus on negativity. You're like, yeah, but what if they are focused on, what if they are negative? Well, you do negative. You don't, the moment you wake up in the morning, you do negativity.
Hey, don't blame shame me here.
I'm not blaming
I feel personally attacked right now.
No, don't be personal attacked. Everybody has their process and issues, and ain't no blaming you for nothing.
Marit, 3 years ago.
Oh, it was hard. It was a hard life.
Wow.
It was a hard life. And suffering with, not suffering because,
I think it was some suffering.
Yeah, there was some suffering up in there. But anyway, the whole point is that when you wake up, the moment you wake up, you don't wake up like, oh, fuck my life, unless you've been to a hard jiu-jitsu.
Sometimes you do.
But mostly you wake up and there's nothing. And then you start becoming conscious and you remind yourself why you're fucking miserable. Oh, my fucking cold. This or this fucking that or whatever. Yeah, exactly. Oh, I have to. I should have.
I need to remember. Oh, it's this day today.
Yeah, all of the things that you, instead of being enthusiastic, there are more reasons, unless you are in a war, starving, injured, bleeding out your neck, reasons for you to be grateful and happy than there are for you to be miserable if you're able even to listen to this podcast. The question is, are you gearing your mind to focus on all the good things happening to you, or are you looking at the very few shitty things in your life? Because, everybody's going to have some shitty things sometimes. And if you're addicted to looking at those things to make these bad feelings, what's going to happen to your neurochemistry? You're going to start creating the pattern of negativity. Your chemistry, the brain actually changes. Stress changes your brain, and then you function less, you make worse decisions, you're less smart, actually, because you go more into survival thinking and short-term thinking instead of long-term planning.
Your brain waves go beta, 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 beta.
They go beta, 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 and not gamma, gamma, gamma. Exactly.
Those gammas.
We want those gamma rays, right? Right? That's what made the Hulk the gamma ray. You want the gamma wavelength.
Yes.
So
you don't turn green.
You don't turn green. But you get powerful.
You get powerful.
Yes, you do.
So, you may turn red because you often get very warm.
But let's go back a little bit now, because we talked about the whole suicide thing and the reason why it happens. But you brought up this beautiful point.
Yeah, I did.
And I would like to expand it a little bit, if I can. Mm-hmm. Who would you kill for?
I'd rather not mention names.
Yes, but
because I don't want them. No, but yeah, no, I have a couple.
You have a couple.
I have a couple.
Who would you kill for? Who would you die for? That's another question, right? Who would you let kill you if they had to?
That's an even smaller list.
That's a very small list.
Very small list.
Right? That's a very, very exclusive gang.
They are very exclusive.
And who would you pull out of the ditch to save their life? And who would you live for? Those are different questions. And those are different groups of people. Mm-hmm. Now, you shouldn't want to kill for everybody.
No.
We're talking, there's going to be a series of movies made up.
This came off. This is based on a true story.
Yes, exactly.
It all started with a big and small podcast. No.
Ooh. I do not want the main role in that movie. Nope. So who would you kill for? Who would you die for? Right? Because to be quite honest, if I saw a kid in the street and the bus was coming, I would throw myself
in front of it.
I would grab the kid and throw the kid out and get hit. I mean, just what it is.
You would do that for your dog. And I love my dog. He's my baby.
Yeah.
But I know he's gonna become. Everything over 12, please. But I'm gonna have like 6-7 dogs in my whole life. Yeah. But I will throw myself in front of a bus for one.
Yeah. That's the way it is, right? It's your dog.
You're saving something.
You're saving
You're
something.
Not even thinking consequences.
Exactly. And then that's the quick death. And then who would you die for slowly? That's another thing. That's actually the quick death and the slow death, because you may quick die for everybody because you're a hero. You're a person who's going to step in the way. You're gonna pull people out of burning buildings. You're gonna run in front of a car or whatever. But if you knew that you were going to die if you touched that person, but that person needed to be touched, would you do it? That's the question. Mm-hmm. Where there's an evaluation, it's not just a reaction. Okay? And by the way, all you big, strong men out there, and you say, yeah, I'd die for people. I'd run into a building and all that. Weirdly enough, you never know who you are until you're in that situation, because there's a lot of people who don't. There's a lot of people who run away from their families. When I worked in the haunted house and I had the chainsaw, I actually had a chainsaw and I was chasing people around like a horror movie guy. And I'll get into that whole thing. But I ran through a crowd with a chainsaw, and many of the men literally thought that it was a chainsaw. It didn't have an actual blade on it. It had the blade, but didn't have the chain. Yeah, so I couldn't actually cut anybody.
Just burned them a little bit.
But yeah, with the engine, that was fucked up. But don't tell anybody. That's a lawsuit, right? But some of them would literally pick their girlfriends up and hold the girlfriend in front of them to get between me and them. Like they would use their family members as shields. Think about that. That's their reaction. So just so you know, until you've been in a situation like that, which I have, you don't know who you are. You don't know if you would actually sacrifice yourself. In your mind, you think you may, but when it comes down to it, you don't know. And how the person looks makes no difference. It's what's inside. It's what's inside. So that's the slow evaluation, the long evaluation. And then you have this whole thing. Who would you let kill you if they had to? Who are you putting ahead of yourself? Well, if your child needed a heart and your heart was the only one that could help them, then you could be altruistic, right?
What does
altruistic means?
Yes.
It means basically self-sacrificing for a greater good.
Thank you.
You'd be like, I'm a good person. I'm giving my heart away to my child,
Okay. Thank you.
And again, that's the quick thinking, because it's like, yeah, of course, it's my kid. You know, they're me, and if they survive, then I survive somehow. You know, spiritually, so they can have my heart. But what if they were selfishly doing it and doing it for bad intentions?
Huh?
Meaning that for some reason they were going to injure you if your kid was coming at you with a knife and you had to hurt them to save yourself. So little Chucky is coming at you with a knife.
Is Chucky my son?
Chucky's your son.
Chucky's running
and he's
towards
trying
me.
to kill you.
Oh yeah, now
and he's gonna manage.
Yeah, because we on the one. Who would you let kill you? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And yeah, who would you let kill you? Little Chucky. So little Chucky's coming at you with a knife. I know that you guys may think that this is talking bullshit.
Oh, this is actually this is a evaluation you should have, because it puts some perspectives to relationships around you, and it makes it, when you have drama around you, you have already made a list. You are not allowed to have that power over me, and the few that you have given Chucky, the knife stabbing kid towards you, the power to kill you, well, then he has the power to kill you then.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you can shoot him or you let him kill you, but you know that you're having to make the decision. Either shoot Chucky or let Chucky kill you.
Will let him kill you, if he's on that list, just stand still and let him.
Then you let him just do the business, and hopefully he finishes it quickly. Yeah, and you're like, well, that's not...
very brutal.
Yeah, but...
Sorry, but it was Halloween.
It's just Halloween, so we're talking about Chucky and knife. But the whole point is that you have to understand that, and you're like, well, that's a very brutal example. Yes, but let's say that you have somebody in your environment that's doing something that's not tolerable, that they're actually killing you a little bit every day.
I think many have that.
Many have that. And the question is, are they on your list?
That's the question.
And I hope you just got the what the fuck kind of what just happened, because how many people are on that list for you? How many people are you going to let kill you?
I think I have 2.
Yeah.
I have 2.
Yeah. Hopefully I'm one of them.
No comment.
No comment.
I don't mention names.
Yeah, there's no names.
No, but that list is not long.
No, and it shouldn't be long. That's the whole point.
If you have your mother and father and sisters and brothers and cousins and teachers and neighbor and then the dog over there,
preacher,
you're gonna have a problem here.
Yeah.
Because then you wonder why you're suffering. Well, maybe you let 14 people around you have the power to actually kill you a little bit every day.
But you don't know that you've done that. You don't know that you've actually done that. And then you're fucked up, because you are constantly losing life and losing energy and diminishing yourself and not shining like you should, not shining like you could, because these people are taking your life.
You know the whole good girl syndrome.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah, that's
trying to reach over way too much all the time, and everybody deserves your help.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's actually true. Most people run in survival and treat people around them as if they are worthy to murder them. Right? Mm-mm. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to be like, oh, hell no. Mm-mm. Don't you be disrespecting me like that. Mm-mm. No, it's not that attitude.
It's not that. It's about who has that power to take something from you every day and you be okay with it.
Yeah,
without it, you are okay with it. You don't start suffering for it.
Exactly.
You just accept that that's what it is.
Yes. And that's the whole point. The whole point is that if you have a friend who for a period is extremely dark and extremely heavy and
I don't know what
the
you're
stress,
talking about.
Nah, I'm not talking about you. But
it's always talking about me.
Yeah. But if there's a lot of dark energy and very heavy energy, that energy sometimes is not healthy for you. But if that person is on your list, it doesn't matter.
And then you stand there with them.
You stand there in it and proudly and eat it. And of course, you're going to try to help balance it. But the point is that it's like, okay, that person shows up and it's lock and load. It's ride or die. And I mean ride or die because you've given that person license, right? That they're on your list. So the next thing is, who would you live for? Who would you live for?
Now the other one has kind of been you sacrificing yourself for others. Yeah. Which is, it sounds more heroic. Heroic.
Yeah.
Thank you. But to live for others.
Yeah.
That's the opposite of what the other one we just had.
Exactly. Who would you be better for? Who would you pull yourself out of the pit for? Who would you show up and work with even though you are in the pit? That's the point. Who would you put a smile on, though it cost you every piece of energy in your whole body, because you know they need a smile from you, though you don't have a smile to give, but because they're that person or on that list, that you do it anyway.
Who are you willing to stop the self-destructive thing you're doing?
Yes.
For?
Like alcoholism, drugs, gaming, sex addictions, like self-sabotaging, self-hating, all that stuff that's addictive, that's an escapism, that also create more negative feelings, more negative. Now, I don't have anything against negative feelings.
Well, we have so many podcasts about them.
Yeah, exactly. We accept and love and honor them.
So many of them are very good.
Yeah.
But to live in them is not to be recommended.
That's right. And also you have to realize that it's bad for your health to be there all the time, and it's bad for your health to be up all the time. It's bad for your understanding of life to be up all the time, but it's also bad for your brain and bad for the people around you if you're down all the time. So you have to find that balance of accepting yourself in a way that allows yourself to have the full range of feelings, and realize that, okay, you can be hit by a feeling, but if you're constantly miserable, you're doing it. And you're like, oh, I don't accept that. Yes, you're doing it.
And it's just that said, because it they have this, I feel this is necessary to say.
Oh, bring it.
Because it kind of bugged me, and it bugs me. But that is when you are down in the pit, you have this it gets better. And you just think,
fuck you.
Fuck you. It does.
Yes.
But it's the worst thing to ever hear when you're down in the pit. You hate it.
Yeah.
And when you also get that, because like I met Jason every day, you got that you are deciding this. You can change your mind. I'm like, I can't decide anything. You shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
You can. But it's not necessarily a switch.
No.
Like that. And that's important to get up, I think, because it sounds very simple, which it is, but it's not that simple to do. It's like you're in a dark room and someone told you it's a light switch in here.
Yeah.
You just get light on, you just switch the switch.
Yeah.
But you can't find the switch. But then but if you you have actually the power to decide something else. You use that power to start looking for the switch. It may not happen within an hour or a day or a week, but you will find it if you start looking.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's important to get forward, because I don't want people to think, it make it sound so simple because you can just decide. It may take some time, but then you can decide. And when you've decided once, then you know where the light switch is. So then you can decide more and more often, because you know where that is.
Exactly. That's it. You get better and better at finding your way out of it. And the first step is to start looking. You start looking that, okay, I now am in jail. Like Gurja says, the first rule of getting out of jail is acknowledging that now I'm in jail. Okay, I accept. I'm in jail.
So you have depression.
Yes,
and
I'm depressed.
I'm depressed. I've heard somewhere that I'm deciding that I'm depressed. Then let's find the switch to make a new decision.
Make a new decision, a new set of focuses, right? Because if I constantly focus on the things that push me down, which is one of the symptoms of depression, I constantly focus on the few actually shitty things in my life relative to the good things. But when you're really depressed, you can find a million things.
And they get so all-consuming.
Yeah, exactly.
And then when positive people like Jason try to say, "Oh, but it's so sunny today," you go, "Shut the fuck up! I get sunburned.
It's like I
have light skin. I can't have the sun."
Yeah, exactly. Do you know how bad it is to be sunburned, asshole? Yeah, exactly.
I don't have Native American blood in me.
That's right. That's right. Beautiful Scandinavian. That's right. But get burns. Get real burns.
Very burned, yes.
Yes. And it's an interesting process of reorganizing that behavior, reorganizing that habit. And when we've practiced doing that so much, so long, then sometimes psychiatric help is needed. And and that's one of the things that I'm not against. I'm not against any kind of treatment that works. I do believe that people sometimes need support in their lives in order to get through periods. I'm not against that. I honor everybody who both helps and gets help. But I would say that mostly if we were in a environment, in a society that, number one, acknowledges mental health issues, and number two, actually has social strategies for helping people, that most people wouldn't end in a place where they actually had to be put into an institution. Most people wouldn't have to have the psychiatric help. It's in the same way, most people wouldn't need to go to the hospital if they ate, slept, and trained. Mm-hmm. And you think, oh, that's not true. Bullshit. Well, it is. 80% of all illnesses or more are lifestyle, which means you have a lack of sleep, you have a lack of nutrition of some kind, or too much energy, too much nutrition, if you know what I'm saying, or you don't exercise. All the other stuff, the genetic stuff, the crazy stuff that they focus on the TV shows, the Chicago Hope, the stuff that you got blindsided by because you have a recessive gene, and Dr. House is going to come in and fix you by figuring out how you're lying and check out your house and make a whole episode out of it, right? The point is that 80% of the people that are there, if they slept well, they ate well, and they moved, exercised, they wouldn't be there. Same thing with mental health issues. So if it was society's job to keep everybody moving, or society's job to give children strategies for handling issues, mental, emotional issues, then we would be so much better. But instead, you're supposed to tough it out and don't bother people with your internal work. And
you get message from the feedback from the military that, because I was reading it today because I'm writing a book, and it says that I was too smiling and too happy.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm like, thank you very much. No, it's true. We have to. That's a dream society, though.
Yeah. Well, it's hopefully where we're going. That's what part of this integrated human process that we have, is to gather our people. Our people are the people who want to take themselves forward, to perform better, to create better peer groups, and those peer groups are going to take over.
And that's also the thing. If you start working on this, you at least have a relationship to it, and then it's easier to hold yourself into it and manage to get your way out, instead of everything all of a sudden collapses right in front of you.
That's it. Imagine being in a society where people are connected to themselves, they're connected to their higher purposes, they're functioning at a high level, and part of their whole process is community, which means that they're going to, hey, Joe, I can see you're having issues. Let's go. You doing good? All right. No? Can I help you with something? Let's go. We work together to be better.
And if you think about it, just if people now make their list about, especially the one who they would let kill them.
Yeah.
You have 15 people on that list, and you wonder why you're starting to get tired and burned out.
Yeah, and exhausted.
You have too many on your list.
Too many people on your list.
It's not about having 50 best friends out there.
No.
It's about having a good peer group, which is strong and supports you.
Exactly.
But if you have 15 people that you will let kill you, they are not supporting you. And I promise you, you're most likely not on their list.
Almost guaranteed.
If you have a short list, I think the chance of you being on their same list is high, very high.
And that's actually a question. Is it reciprocal?
Not always.
No, exactly.
How can I force you to be on my list? It's my decision to make.
Yeah.
It's not about, do you write your best?
I'm going to write my list and you write your list.
You're writing me, right? And I'm writing. It's not about that. We're not in kindergarten.
No.
Or maybe it was preschool we did this. But we
I'll
didn't
be
make
your
this.
best friend if you be mine.
Yeah, that was the one. We didn't make list of who you would like
to kill. Yeah,
kill.
I can see little Marit. The kindergarten, I'm like, my short list.
Short list.
Who I can kill and who gets to kill me.
Yeah. But actually, I think we have made way too many people on that list. And it's about putting on the, they have the whole, you fly an airplane, they put on your mask first before helping others. And you have this mother putting on her mask before the kid.
Yeah, exactly. Save yourself before you're...
And this is also, because you say you have a list of 15 and you have actually just 2 of them that should be on it. You're saving yourself for 13 so you can really be there for those 2.
Yeah.
That's the point. You need to power stack yourself.
Power stacking.
Where you are powerful and can make a difference. You can't make a difference for the other 13 people.
Yeah, and that's the point. I guess it's making the difference. I had a lady who came in and she, of course, had to take the 92 kilo dump, and she got rid of her husband because the guy was just, to be quite honest with you, he was horrible. He was just horrible.
Good for her.
Yeah, that's it. And I unfortunately, in a way, I was honored, but not honored to be the reason, not the reason, but I asked the question, is it helping? And she said, well, what do you mean? I said, you're miserable. Yeah, I'm fucking miserable. Yeah, and why are you miserable? Well, because of my husband. And I said, well, does anything you do help? And she's like, oh. And I'm like, you've done everything. Has anything helped? And it wasn't that he was ill, guys. He was just an asshole. And she's like, no, actually, he just doesn't, no, nothing helps. You should think about that. And she did. Right to the lawyer, right?
I was like, no, you're like Jason's divorce.
Yeah, exactly. The divorce instigator. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, but the whole point
then she saved herself.
Yeah, and she...
And by saving herself there, she
saved
her kids, her friends, her family, about seeing her getting killed. Because that is also kind of addiction.
Her life became so much better. She's only happy now.
And that helps. I hope she's not only happy.
Well, I mean...
Hope she has a full spectrum.
Yeah, she has a full spectrum of but her family life is very, very solid and very happy.
And with doing that, she started living not for that one person that she was not on the list for, apparently.
She was not on the list.
But she started living for the whole bunch of people that were on the list of who do you want to live for.
And honestly, if you'd heard the way she was being treated, you'd see that he didn't put her on any of his lists.
Any lists.
Exactly.
Well, she put him off her list and started living for the people on her. This is the people I'm worth living that I would like to live for list.
Exactly. That's it.
Good job, woman.
Yeah, amazing lady. Amazing lady. So
that was today. Heavy talk, yo.
Woo woo. And enjoy November. God bless everybody who has an eye on a family member that has cancer. I lost my mother to cancer, breast cancer. So thank you so much for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Honestly, women's health issues specifically have way too little research because most researchers are old men, and that's why prostate cancer has such good treatment. So if you're going to put focus somewhere, if you're going to give money, please give money to breast cancer and women's issues. Of course, you can give money to prostate cancer, but the treatment there is actually quite excellent. 80% of all 80-year-olds have prostate cancer. It's something that most men will have if they survive to become retired. So you live with it, you die with it, you don't die from it. Breast cancer is different.
It's very different.
And uterine cancer and all the other female-related cancers are much more dangerous and they're more difficult to examine. So please encourage the women in your life to be healthy and to take their health seriously.
And take their health seriously with fixing up their lists.
Yeah, and that's it. Their mental health is a big part of their inner climate and their immune system and all the things that keep them healthy. If you have a person in your life that you feel doesn't have a good list of people that they would live for and die for and let kill them and all that, introduce them to the podcast. Let us help them. And I hope to see you at one of our meditation events.
And make yourself those lists.
That's it.
And hope you get a experience.
Yes. And remember, you matter. Unless you multiply yourself by the speed of light squared, then you're energy. But if you can't be energy, matter.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. We hope you felt we added something to your day and hopefully your life. If you want to learn more, subscribe to our newsletter and find us at integrated-human.com. That is integrated-human.com. Integrated Human on YouTube and other social media platforms. Have a great day and thank you again for listening. Love, light, and upgrade from us at the Integrated Human team.